DS stands for different spirit, two words associated with Citroen from all the way back in 1955, when they launched the original and iconic DS at the Paris Motor Show. Not only was it gorgeous, but with features like disc brakes, hydro-pneumatic suspension, a semi-automatic gearbox and power steering, it was years ahead of its time. When just over half a century on, in 2010, Citroen have brought back the DS and rebranded it on a car called the DS3, and it got people talking in exactly the same way. This segment on my channel is called Pocket Rocket Polls, where I take pocket rockets from all different brands and pin them against each other, scoring them out of 10 for different sections. If that sounds good, then make sure you hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos from me. Okay, let's get into it. Of course, this isn't any old DS3, because this is Pocket Rocket Polls. This is the DS3 Sport Plus model. But overall, the exterior styling looks reasonably similar to the rest of the lineup. Now, that's not really a bad thing because the DS3 is a great looking car, but I would have liked to see some more aggressive, in-your-face sporty styling to stand it out from the rest of the models. The basic shape of the car is traditional Super Mini, with gentle curves marking its extremities and the wheels pushed out to the corners, producing a squat, Percival stance. It got 17-inch diamond cut alloy wheels, but these weren't exclusive to just the Sport. The devil is really in the detail, everything from these chrome wing mirrors and door handles, through to the contrasting roof that sweeps onto the slightly on the small side spoiler. And then you've got this very iconic shark fin B-pillar that you get on the DS3. Moving around to the front of the car, you've got the very distinctive DS3 lights with the slightly cubed detailing along the top, and then you've got these daytime running lights that just flourish the grille. Whether you like the DS3 or not is probably going to be up to your personal preference. I don't think it looks quite as good as some of its competitors, but overall I think it's a great looking car and it is different from anything else on the road. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10 for exterior styling. Interior quality is a mixed bag, but then I do have to remember that this car is coming up for 6 years old. You did get some quite nice bolstered leather sport seats as standard, and you have got a flat bottom steering wheel. The only problem is you haven't got a multifunctional steering wheel. The functions are kind of behind the wheel, which is a little bit awkward. An upgraded signature hi-fi is standard, and there is Bluetooth, but sat-nav was a pricey upgrade. Everything else feels really good quality, like the dash and this quite nice detailing that you have across here. The radio is a little bit fiddly to use, and because of that and the lack of steering wheel controls, I'm going to give this car a 6 out of 10 for interior quality and style. Next up, you've got interior space and practicality. Unfortunately, if you ask any DS3 owners, they'll tell you that it's not particularly practical. You've got a nice armrest here in the middle, but then you've got the handbrake underneath, so it becomes difficult to pull up. You've also got no cup holders and a very small glove box. You can't even fit in the car's handbooks in there. But overall, there's quite a lot of interior space in the front. I've got plenty of headroom and plenty of legroom and knee space for the front passengers. Shame the same can't be said about the back. As you can see, rear space is really quite tight. I haven't got the longest legs and even I'm struggling. There is actually 3 seats in the back here, which makes practicality quite good, but your friends probably wouldn't like you much if you carried 3 people in the back too often. The rear windows don't actually open and they are tinted, which can make it feel quite claustrophobic in here. The DS3's saving grace is the boot. There's 285 litres of boot space. That's double than what you'll find in the Mini and more than you'll find in the Volkswagen Polo of the same age. For this reason, practicality might not be the best, but space in the boot is great, and at least you do actually have 3 seats in the rear if you really did have to carry people in emergencies. Overall, I'll give space and practicality a 5 out of 10. For somebody looking to purchase a pocket rocket, I think exhaust note is going to be quite important, so we're going to go ahead and test out the DS3s now. With a set of twin pipes, it's already got 1 up on the Adam S, but then that wasn't particularly difficult. The exhaust note isn't great, but there are some low down grumbles, and I'll give it a 5 out of 10. The DS Sport gets the same 1.6 litre turbocharged engines that you'll find in quite a lot of other cars. It was originally in the Peugeot 208, but it was also lent to Mini to go in their Cooper S, and you could even find it in the Ford Focus, but they won't tell many people that. It's a turbocharged engine producing 155 brake horsepower and 204 Newton meters of torque. The DS3 Sport responds well to throttle input, and it's quick and direct in its power. It will sprint from 0 to 60 in a respectable 7.1 seconds, which is actually a couple of points of a second ahead of the Abarth 500. However, it's not quite as quick as the Mini Cooper S. It might have the same engine, but the Mini gets 173 brake horsepower out of theirs, opposed to this car which only has 155. But despite that, it still feels really nippy, and of course, you're going to get better fuel economy. The DS3 feels safe and secure, but if you crave fun and playful, then you might be left feeling slightly disappointed. If you look at this car in terms of an everyday driver that you still want to be able to have some fun and get a good amount of noise out of the exhaust, then the DS3 Sport does this job very well. Overall, performance can probably be described as warm rather than hot, but the DS3 is still really enjoyable to drive, and it's got a good amount of power for the size of the car. I'll score this a 5 out of 10. This might not come to any surprise, but the ride is quite firm. But the same can be said to the Mini Cooper and the Fiesta ST. The good news is it's not quite as firm as a ride as you'll find in the Adam S. Luckily, despite this car being slightly firm, it does make up for it with these really nice leather sports seats. They hug you in all the right places and make sure that you don't slide out of them around the corners. The handling is sharp, but not quite as sharp as you'll find in some of its rivals like the Fiesta ST, and it does understeer slightly. It is really nice to be able to have 6 gears in a pocket rocket. It means that you can still have a lot of fun and work your way through those gears, but when it comes to a motorway, it's much more enjoyable and quiet. Handling on the DS is really good, and it does its heritage proud. It might not handle quite as good as some of its rivals, but I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. The final category is price and value for money, and I've compared the DS3 against other models of a similar age range and mileage. If you wanted to go for the more powerful Mini Cooper S, the 1.6 model, then it's going to set you back around the £9,000 mark, and there's actually 150 of those to choose from. Go for the more power-matched Abarth 500, then it will cost you around £7,000, and there's 90 of those to choose from. However, the DS3 will cost just £5,800, and there's only 7 available on Auto Trader with a similar mileage and age, which makes this quite a distinct model. For that reason, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10 for price and value for money. The Citroen DS3 Sport was brought out to be a premium contender for the Mini Cooper S, but I don't think it was quite matched with the tools to be able to do that. However, at £2,000 less than a Mini Cooper S, still a great amount of performance and looking good, I think it's a really good contender if you're looking for something a little bit different. All of the points added up, and the Citroen DS3 Sport gets a 6 out of 10. What do you think? Do you think you agree with my scoring? If you've liked this video, then please go ahead and give it a massive thumbs up. And if you want to see more videos like this, then make sure you hit the subscribe button. Until next time, bye!